Bend and Scoop is brought to you by Harder Concepts, the best bars in North Dallas. Eat, drink, party harder.
I love Bend and Scoop, man.
You want to hear some music? You'd like that, wouldn't you? Well, today you're going to get all the music you want.
The request lines are now open. KGFJ Soul Radio.
Do it now, man.
Request lines are up.
It's open, man.
Got any Blue Oyster Cult?
No, I don't have any Blue Oyster Cult. I ate 34 pairs last time around. Where were you? I was that close to working at 7-Eleven, you know.
Pass the word along. Tell the men it's time to shoot the moon.
Shoot the moon!
Out there on the microphone. On the microphone.
Shoot the moon. Shoot the moon.
The attitude dictates that you don't care whether she comes, stays, lays, or prays. I mean, whatever happens, your toes are still tapping.
Hey, Strawberry! Oh, Strawberry. Hey, what's happening, man? How you doing? This is my friend.
Hey, how you doing, man?
What you looking at, man?
Oh, nothing. I wasn't looking. I wasn't looking at his neck, man.
Can you honestly tell me that you forgot the magnetism of Robin Zander or the charisma of Rick Nielsen?
That's kid stuff.
Kid stuff. Well, how about the tunes? I want you to want me. The Dream Police. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
Build your muscles picking strawberries. You know, Bend and Scoop.
Maybe I could get you a job with United Fruit. I got a buddy with United Fruit.
Start with strawberries, you might work your way up to these goddamn bananas. When, boy, are you gonna get your act together?
We're creating a society of cell phone crazed, marijuana smoking zombies.
Coming to you not quite live from Lukewarm Tallboy Studios deep in the land of Gar, this is Bend and Scoop, the podcast featuring music, mirth, and minutia, focused on exposing artists you probably haven't heard, but should. I'm Bob, and I'll be your tour guide on this amazingly asymmetric auditory adventure as we journey to the center of your cochlea. Welcome to episode 62. Bend and Scoop is brought to you by Harder Concepts, the best bars in North Dallas. Visit one of the now 6 great Harder Concepts locations in DFW, including Scruffy Duffy's, Ringo's Pub, and the brand new Bottle Rockets, all at the Shops at Legacy in Plano, Saintsbury Tavern at Austin Ranch in the Colony, the Mucky Duck at Addison Circle in Addison, and Addison Ice House at Vitruvian Park in Addison. All Harder Concepts locations have great food, live music, an amazing beer and spirit selection, and a wait staff that's second to none. Whether you want to hang out with old friends or meet some new ones, there's no better place to get together and watch your favorite sports or hear some awesome tunes. Eat, drink, party harder. Joining us at the end of the show to play a round of Is That Your Vinyl Answer? In the Groovin' After Party will be our very special guest, Tiffany Mason from the Memories with a Beat podcast. We spread the gospel of vinyl here at Bend and Scoop, so be sure to tell us all about your favorite neighborhood record store by posting to @BendScoop on Twitter or Instagram using the hashtag SpinMomandPop. Our record store of the week is The Record Lounge in East Lansing, Michigan. You can follow them on Twitter and Facebook, both at The Record Lounge, on Instagram at Record Lounge, and you can check out their website at therecordlounge.reotown.com. Let's kick things off with Terry and Louie out of Portland from their 2018 album 1,000 Guitars. This one's called I'm Looking for a Heart.
I got a brain, I'm really smart. I got feet
From Tucson, Arizona, that's the Resonars with Let's Bring It Home off their brand new album Disappear. How Many is a podcast where I get together with my friends Jesse, Junior, Gary, and Scott to debate a variety of pop culture topics, including movies, sports, TV, music, and more. You can follow How Many on Twitter at How Many Podcast and listen at howmanypodcast.com. Up next is a band from Birmingham, Alabama called Lee Baines III and the Gloryfires. This is from the 2017 album Youth Detention, Underneath the Sheets of White Noise.
I gotta meet a girl. I mean, look at that guy. He's got a girl. He had to meet her someplace. He wasn't born with his arm around her. What about jogging? Maybe you can meet girls jogging.
Jogging. Remember when I first saw Rocky, I came running out of the theater, ran into the park, started jogging, shadow boxing. Guy came up and punched me right in the face.
Took it on the hinder, now he takes it on the chin. If I
some magic, but you slipped down in the mud. Your latest big idea turned out to be a dud. Hey, simply pull the lever and watch the ball roll. Now they wouldn't touch you with a 10-foot pole. Is your glass half full? Is it something that you stole? It's Boogie's Goldest Taker and it ain't so far away. Lead us to temptation and we might be here to stay. If you leave the window open, I can smell it when I say, put that fucking thing down. I saw your footprints on the moon. I saw your fingerprints on the cookie jar. Taker and it ain't so far away. Lead us to temptation and we might be here to stay. If you leave the window open, I can smell it when I say, put that fucking thing. Boogie's Goldest Taker and it ain't so far away. Lead us to temptation and we might be here to stay. Leave the window open, I can smell it when I say, will you put that fucking thing down? Will you put that fucking thing down? Will you please, kindly, put that fucking thing down?
Minneapolis legends the Suicide Commandos from their 2017 Time Bomb album that was Boogie's Coldest Acre. Plausible Deniability is a monthly podcast I co-host with my pal David Miller, which you can follow on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all at Pause Deny. We post new episodes on the first day of every month. This next one's from Brooklyn's Dion Lunadon from his single that was released in 2020 called When Will I Hold You Again?
TV, television,
into the groove. Don't move, scope on the action. Channel 8, it's something else.
New York City, that's Big Huge with the title track from their 2017 album Cruel World. Campfire Songs is a podcast where I get together with my buddies Todd, Jim, and Tom to share and discuss songs with each other. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at Songs Campfire and give us a listen for more great music. Here's Simon Doom out of Brooklyn. From his 2017 album Baby Man, this is Gray's Placenta.
Fingernails brown and bloody. Encapsulated
what gets me? I go to get a haircut. They charge me like $4, which is the same amount of money they would charge anybody to come in. But like, say a guy like Michael Land that goes into the shop where I go, they would charge him $4. Yet he's got like 100 times more hair than I do. By rights, they should be charging Michael Landon like $400.
Yeah, but they don't charge it by how much hair you've got. They charge it, they're paid to make it look good with what you've got.
Well, I don't even know if they've done that. I mean, how does that look?
You ever try maybe like swooping it over? You know how some guys that grow their hair real long and then like they swoop it over? You can do a lot like that. You can get a pompadour and everything.
My hair doesn't grow long enough to swoop it over. Besides, I think when you see a guy with his hair swooped over, you know he's like doing it to cover up something.
Yeah. And if a guy has a lot of hair, he's not going to swoop it.
Guy has a lot of hair, he's
all.
not going to swoop it over.
No. You know the guys who always keep their hair are the guys who have no use for it at all. They're not trying to impress anybody.
Who's that?
Like bums. You ever seen a bald bum?
At the grocery store, I don't want her to know that we're having a fight, so I am eating alone tonight. We put the cats and dogs to shame. Oh, the way we go at it puts them all to shame. But no one else is to blame. You and I are to blame. Going at it every night, it's always the same. I'm always tense, you're never tame. We put the cats and dogs to shame. I don't want to run into your brother at the post office. I don't want him to know that I'm sending you a letter that says I want to die. We put the cats and dogs to shame. Oh, the way we go at it puts them all to shame. No one else is to blame. You and I are to blame. Going at it every night, it's always the same. I'm always tense, you're never tame. We put the cats and dogs to shame.
From Philadelphia, that was the Scholars of Squalor themselves, the Tough Shits, from their 2012 self-titled album. That was Cats and Dogs. Have you ever wanted to host a podcast? Well, all you have to do to join the Mike Hunt and host your very own episode of Assume the Juxtaposition is send me your topic idea to lukewarmtallboy@gmail.com. You can follow Assume the Juxtaposition on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, all at AssumeTJPod. And don't forget to stick around for the end of the show, when we'll be joined in the Groovin' After Party by our special guest, Tiffany Mason, from the Memories with a Beat podcast. Here's a band out of Nashville called Faux Ferocious. From their 2019 album Pretty Groovy, this is Chase the Dream.
produce a great recording, you need many skills and talents and the most sensitive equipment. To reproduce a great recording, you need perfectly matched precision components. Zenith Natural Sound Stereo brings you such components, including a full-range speaker system, blended and balanced by a master control panel that also lets you enjoy exciting stereo FM radio. And Zenith's famous MicroTouch 2G tone arm makes it impossible to accidentally ruin your fine stereo records. All in the luxury of fine furniture, from elegant hand-rubbed consoles to exciting new space-saving credenzas. Zenith Natural Sound Stereo reproduces the sound of great music exactly as it was recorded. At Zenith, the quality goes in before the name goes on.
That was Autogram with 2 M's out of Vancouver, BC, off their brand new 2021 album No Rules. That one was Mantra. If you want to listen to all this great music without having to hear me ramble between songs, be sure to check out our Bend and Scoop Spotify playlist. If we played it and they have it, you can listen to it there. And if you enjoy listening to what we do here on Bend and Scoop, please take a moment to subscribe, rate, and review us wherever you get your podcasts. And if you really enjoy what we do here at Bend and Scoop and would like to show your support, please feel free to drop a little something in our virtual tip jar at patreon.com/bendscoop. As long as you maintain your love of music and go out to live shows, you'll never be the lonely guy.
I'm here. I'm never gonna leave you.
Now, the tender, heartbreaking story of a man doomed to go to bed with his bed.
First time lonely guy?
He didn't know it.
How many in your bed?
I'm alone.
But he was a lonely guy. And he wasn't alone.
Forrest, where are you?
They were everywhere.
Marilyn, my love! Where are you, boy?
He tried his best to meet women. Working women.
First National Bank.
Hi, Carol Zoll, please.
I'm sorry, she's all tied up right now.
Pretty women.
You want to go to dinner?
I'm a man.
Anything was better than sleeping alone. But he was still lonely. So lonely that he wrote about it. And then things began to change.
We got a call from Playboy. They want you to pose with the bunny of the month.
Could you just put to Jimmy?
He became popular.
Sure.
Real popular. And best of all, he met a wonderful girl.
Hang in there. Lonely guys don't stay lonely forever.
I think you and I have something special. I mean, sure we have a few problems like not having sex.
So she decided to marry someone else.
The only girl I ever loved's gonna marry somebody else. I was just hopeless, but you're gonna need an escort. Follow me.
This man is not for you. Don't go through with this.
He's right.
Steve Martin.
Is this the First Lutheran?
No, Third Methodist.
The lonely guy.
Yeah, check it. Listen. They said he was a lost cause, always pointed out his flaws. Amount to nothing, always struggling, always something troubling in his eyes. Yo, he keeps on getting high just to deal with the pain and the shame that's inside. And it's a wild, hard life, a long, long road. And he's in shutdown mode. The fat lady sings her last note. Where's the rope as he chokes? It's tight round his throat, and in his pocket there's a letter that he wrote. He said, I'm feeling kinda empty. No, this isn't healthy. Only in my 20s and nobody's helped me. The valley isn't easy, believe me. Hard times after hard times, too many mountains to climb. This is the burnt out cry of a broken lost soul. This is the reason that I'm gone. I couldn't take control. You see, I try to do good, I end up doing wrong, and I don't feel like I belong. So how do I stay strong? Lord have mercy on my soul as I go into this afterlife. I've been in hell already, that's how I know I'm ready. I've lost the will to live, I've lost the will to dream. This is the final scream, this is the final stream. It's game over, I ain't playing no more. Mate, I'm slamming that door, because this is the final score. And sayonara, adios, goodbye. This is the final cry from the lonely guy who wants to die. And no more crying to sleep, no more sickness when I eat, no more trying to succeed. It's time to concede, I'm sick of being that no hope, sliding down that slippery slope. I'm depressed off dope, mate, I'm broke to the core. No longer at war, and I will say no more. Curtains close, lights out, and it can only get better. To the next life I enter, take a lighter and set fire to this letter. Because I'm gone forever. Gone forever, gone forever, gone forever. Because I'm gone forever. Gone forever, gone forever, gone forever. Gone forever.
People listen to people. So listen, people.
Welcome to the Groovin' After Party. Come on in and pour yourself a cold one.
Joining me now for our Groovin' After Party here on Bend and Scoop is Tiffany Mason from the Memories with a Beat podcast. Welcome, Tiffany.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
Well, thank you for being on. Really excited to have you on. Tell everybody about Memories with a Beat.
Well, Memories with a Beat is my podcast where I interview other people. I just think that music has a way of transporting us, just like smell kind of. there's, you smell something, you're like, oh my gosh, my grandmother, or one that's really prevalent for me is I smell something and it will bring me back to my basement of my childhood home because it was just musty and old. And I don't know, that smell, not quite mothballs, but something pretty similar.
Yeah.
And I find it very endearing. And so the same thing happens when we hear music. And I don't know if there's like a marker in our brain or what happens exactly. Maybe I should have that be one of my episodes, but you hear a song and man, you are instantly in that spot. And I just think that that's so impressive. And I want to interview people and hear about the good and the bad, so there was one lady and, she had a sexual trauma in the past. And it was so interesting that a song that I almost found to be inspirational, she found to have like motivation to run away, really, kind of. And so it's just interesting how we all hear the same song and walk away with a totally different impression. So I just love picking people's brains and finding out why they like a song and where they go to when that song hits the radio.
Now, for you, what song has the most attachment to a specific time in your life? Is there one that when you hear it, you immediately think of either childhood, teenage years, maybe when your first child was born, something like that?
There's quite a few, but the one that I think is the most fun to share is Shelley McKeever. And I don't know what year it was, but we lived in this little tiny town and we had to take a school bus to swim lessons in the next town over. And she had just gotten a cassette player that year. And so it was like a portable little tiny, boom box or radio, whatever. And man, she'd hit that Def Leppard tape and Pour Some Sugar on Love. Pour Some Sugar on Love would come on. Oh man, that whole bus, all of us would start, and then we'd have to wait, while she rewinded it. And then we could listen to it again.
Yeah. Pour Some Sugar on Me really has that specific time. I mean, you just hear it and it's like, yep, that's mid 80s. That's late 80s.
Yeah.
Right there.
Mm-hmm.
That is one of the most 80s songs there is. But, and it's funny that, you have that association with it and it's just a fun song. People, associate it with fun, love it.
Yeah. That was I think that was just a good, I don't know if I want to say carefree, but a lot of people were trying a lot of things. And I think that, it was kind of caution to the wind and let's see where this gets us, love, sex, rock and roll, or drug, sex, rock and roll. And so it's just kind of a song that fit that time. Yeah.
Like teenage years, right? I mean, that's just when things really start going for teenagers.
Yep.
Well, Tiffany, let's learn a little bit more about your own personal musical journey. And we're going to play around of something we like to call, Is That Your Vinyl Answer? And we'll start with asking you, what is the first record that you remember buying with your own money? It could have been a cassette, whatever, just the first album that you remember.
Okay, I know that we always had to spend our money. So I know that my parents did not buy it for me, but I don't remember exactly which one. But what I think what it was like either Debbie Gibson or Whitney Houston or Tiffany, just because, those
music.
Were popular. Yeah. They were popular at the time. And I'm pretty sure, though, I think I was so cheap, I only bought singles. I don't think I bought full cassettes.
No, that's normal. I remember back in the 70s when I was a kid and they had the 45s, and then I guess they got the singles that came out, the cassette singles in the 80s. Yeah.
Yeah. So I just remember buying one song at a time, and it was always that flimsy cover, but it always had the lyrics on it still. Yeah. And so, yeah.
And also it wasn't even just an expense thing, but when you're a kid, you like the song. You don't want to hear all the filler. You just, you want to hear the song and you want to hear it over and over again. So it makes perfect sense.
Yeah. If they were smart, they would have recorded that song like 10 times in a row on the tape. Right.
Yeah. So you didn't have to keep repeating it or taking it out and rewinding it.
Right.
Now,
well, if we can go back in time and we can tell the producers, we'll give them that tip.
Oh yeah. Yeah, definitely. Do you remember where you bought it and do you still have it?
I definitely do not still have it. I'm a tosser. So as soon as it has no value to me, I throw it. And I'm sure that I had upgraded to a CD, and then now we have everything at our fingertips. So I don't still have it. I believe I was looking actually online and I was trying to find the name of it. I think it was called Musicland. Okay. I'm pretty positive. I was looking at because I looked up like
And this was in your
record stores.
hometown?
Yeah.
Okay.
In the mall. Lower level. I'm pretty sure that's where I always was. And, it was so impressive. There was just rows and rows and rows of different music that you could, get your fingers on. I remember I wanted all of it.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. It was so great being in the record store at that age. You knew you could never get anywhere near what you wanted, but at least you knew where it was and you could see it. And like, one of these days, I'm going to get that too.
Yeah, being in the record store is kind of like, as a kid, it's like being in the alcohol store now, right?
Yeah.
The liquor store, right? Like it's just like,
Yep.
Ooh, I want it all.
Yeah. My local record store was really kind of like going to Willy Wonka for me. It wasn't like, it was kind of like my version of candy, like I just want all of these records. I want them all.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and not that I'm so much of an alcoholic, but I just go there and I think like all the different flavors or all the different combinations or, my husband and I love bourbon. And so just thinking about all of the different levels that they have and the different times of aging and different barrels that it was cast in and just all that stuff is so, intriguing that I would just like to taste it all.
Sure. And sometimes even the bottles look really cool. The way the labels and the design of the shape of the glass or whatever, it's like it would look really good on the bar, just, the display.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Who do you own the most albums by, and which of theirs is your favorite?
I don't discriminate. I love everything. Somebody was asking me yesterday, they're like, what do you just jam out to? And I was like, I just can't answer that. Like, I just don't have a good answer for it. And she's like, oh, come on. And I said, I guess if I'm going to just have a, windows down kind of moment, it's going to be 80s hair bands. But I just appreciate all music. I don't love like hardcore rap with like a ton of swear words and talking about, popping caps in people's. Yeah. But the rest of it, I just have such an appreciation, just the instruments, the story behind the song, the lyrics. I just appreciate music for what it is. So I don't have a solid answer.
Did you have a favorite hair band? Like
I love Aerosmith.
I
love Def Leppard. And not Journey. What's the other one? Not Duran Duran. Oh, I can't think of the other one. I don't know. But just 80s hair bands are great. But yeah, love me some Steven Tyler for sure.
Yeah. So they had some big records in the 80s for sure. Yeah. That was kind of their big comeback.
Yeah. I actually had a boyfriend introduce me to Aerosmith when I was in my teen years. And I already liked them. I already loved them from just childhood and probably the bus with Shelley McKeever and her little tape player. But yeah. And so he really introduced me to Aerosmith in a more intentional way. And then we went to a couple of concerts from Aerosmith. And so they just have a place in my heart now. And then I think we all got to see a different side of him when he was a judge on American Idol. Yeah. So just an overall experience. I still have an appreciation for who he is and like the band.
Is there any particular album, whether it's Aerosmith or anyone else, that you've bought the most times over the year, either like in different formats or just reissues or that sort of thing?
No, like I said, I just didn't buy a ton of music. So I don't have a whole bunch of one specific band. But what I will say is we recorded a ton of Paula Abdul and Madonna off of MTV. So, you'd hit the play record and you wish that the MC, DJ, whatever that person was called on the show, you wish they'd shut up a little bit sooner because you really wanted the full song, or they'd come in at the very end of the song and they'd start talking. But so I'd say, Paula Abdul and Madonna, we recorded and recorded and recorded to make mixtapes.
Yeah. And I remember using like VHS to record some MTV, some videos, but even the radio, we would try and record songs off the radio. And like you said, the DJ would keep talking into the beginning of the song. It's like, oh, come on.
Shut up.
Yeah.
Just want to hear the music. You're ruining it.
Now, you mentioned when we were talking before we started this segment that you and your husband have a restaurant, and then in the restaurant there's a record player and records that are in there. Are those his records and your records that are in the restaurant, or?
They're his. I mean, I
Yeah.
don't even know what he has down there. But they're
Does he
definitely.
have the biggest collection of vinyl of anybody that you know, your husband?
No, actually, I think what maybe gave him the idea to do that, his parents had a decent size record collection and they gifted it to his sister. They were going to get rid of it. And she was
Yeah.
like, no, I want that. And so she put it in her basement, and her kids will listen to vinyl all the time. And she's constantly buying new vinyl. She's probably the only person I know that has a vinyl collection. And hers is by far the biggest because it's like the original stuff from back in the day. It's not like she bought, represses or remixes or remasterings, whatever you want to call it. They're the real legit deal from, back in the day when they were popular and being sold on a regular basis.
Yeah.
So it's definitely hers. And she's actually gotten some new stuff too. Her daughter was really into NSYNC for a while. So they got a couple of NSYNC records and Justin Bieber. And so it's just interesting that they still make the records for even the newer music.
Yeah. Yeah. How many would you say that she has all total?
Ooh, maybe 200.
Oh, that's pretty good size.
Yeah. She's got a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. At the restaurant, I think we have maybe 50.
Yeah.
But yeah, down at the, but this is giving me a good Christmas gift idea.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Maybe that's something we need to do for him.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Note taken.
So one last question for you, Tiffany. If you have one, what is your all-time favorite cover song? Like a song that somebody recorded that was previously done by someone else that maybe they even did a better version of. You mentioned Tiffany earlier. That was a cover song. I Think We're Alone Now. That was a Tommy James.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, we could definitely pull that one because I did not realize that was a cover song.
Oh yeah. That was a big hit back in the 60s.
Oh, okay. I'll have to look for it. Yeah, because my name is Tiffany, of course, everybody, but it was also insanely popular.
Oh yeah.
Around my growing up. So good memories there. And I would probably say that one anyway. I mean, that's a great one to begin with. So as much as I love music, I just don't have a huge back knowledge of it. So I think that's really what I've been gaining from my podcast and then other podcasts that I'm, getting exposed to. And then I go check those out and then I go, oh, okay. So maybe that's a new avenue. I need to kind of check out different cover songs.
Yeah. Yeah. And like you said, you appreciate it for the enjoyment. It's like, I love music. It's on. I don't want to stop and think about who is this? What album is this on? How long?
Right.
When did this come out? It's just, yeah. And my brain always kind of works more, detail oriented like that. So I would sometimes love to just be able to relax and not have to think about anything but the song. That would be fun.
Yeah. Well, I know I had a coworker one time and he said the same thing where he's like, I almost can't enjoy the music because I'm so busy trying to figure out what instrument is playing what piece of the music, how they layered it, how they mixed it up together. And so, yeah, I can appreciate the fact where, you're trying to figure out the details, whereas I'm just super simple, I guess. And I just really like the music for the music.
It's funny that you mentioned that about the individual components of the song, because the guy I had on last week, Brad Page, he's got a podcast called I'm in Love with That Song. And it's all about, they focus on an individual song and he gets the tracks from each song and he'll highlight a specific instrument. And there's songs that we talked about that I went back and listened to his episodes that I've loved and listened to for years. And there were instruments and parts of the song that I never even noticed or realized were in the song until he isolated them, and it was like, this is a really good idea for a podcast. Yeah. It's really good. And they're real short too. Each episode's like 15 minutes.
Oh, perfect.
15 to 20 minutes. So it's real quick.
Digestible and approachable,
but very informative.
I like that. Yeah, that's very cool to learn the backstory of it or those pieces. There's a guy that focuses on enneagrams, and he made a song for each enneagram. And what he did is he asked people that have those Enneagram numbers, like, hey, you're a 7, send me some sound, just any sound. And so like people would send them like them walking down the hallway or tapping your fingers on the desktop or just weird sounds. But he would very intentionally incorporate them into the song because it was from a 7 and the song was about a 7. And then he goes through and he talks about how he put the song together, and he'll do that. He'll isolate the sounds and then you go, oh, that is in there. Oh, that's so cool. So I'm going to check that out for sure.
Yeah.
I'm in love with that song.
Yeah, it's really awesome. And I love hearing those kinds of details whenever I can. Well, Tiffany, you mentioned that you're about to start up season 2 of the podcast. So
yes.
Let everybody know how can we follow your podcast, and social media, Twitter, Instagram, and you as well. Anything you want to share on those fronts?
Yes. So I have Memories with a Beat is under my company, which is Virtually You.
Mm-hmm.
My handle is Virtually You Podcast VA. And I post everything about the podcast under there. This month, what I'm going to be doing is I want to go through all the episodes and I'm going to ask some trivia questions on those episodes and just kind of refresh everybody's memory of the songs that we've explored. Season 2 is going to start off with a bang. I have a friend that I interviewed and it's her birthday. So we're going to start off with a birthday episode in September and just talk about a song that she loves. And so you can find me there. And then I'm on Spotify. I'm on all the popular platforms. But the fun thing is I have a playlist. Mm-hmm. So I put together a playlist on Apple Music, Spotify, and YouTube. And it's just called Memories with a Beat, the playlist. And you guys can explore all the songs that we've talked about. What's great about it is sometimes you don't realize that the song, just like you were talking about in an episode that we did, where, if you hear it, exactly what it is, but you may not know by the title or the singer's name. And then, just walk down memory lane and see how you relate to those songs. And, did you get the same message that my guest got, or did you, have your own experience with that song? And then if you like it, hey, give me 5 stars. I would love it. I love a good review or rating. I'd appreciate it.
Awesome. Tiffany, thanks so much. Had a lot of fun. And folks, give it a listen. Memories with a Beat. You'll love it. Your episodes are nice and concise. They're usually 30 minutes or less. So it's not a big time commitment, but it's a lot of fun. You get to hear a lot of good stories. I highly recommend it. I loved it when I listened to it. So give it a shot.
Yeah, thanks so much.
Don't worry about it, guys. It's all in the mix.
Bye-bye, lardass.
Bend and Scoop is a production of Lukewarm Tallboy Studios.
We will return tomorrow morning with the sun.
Good evening, and have a good life.